One of the pretty cool things CD Projekt Red did with yesterday's Night City Wire and large trailer/gameplay dump around Cyberpunk 2077 is actually include several updated shots from that original 2018 gameplay. You probably noticed these. The one in particular that people are pointing out is the Dexter Deshawn one, as it was a prominent spot from that original gameplay, and now we can see it looking a lot better for a variety of reasons. But there's actually a lot of this all throughout this, including several things that aren't direct comparison shots, but rather you can compare a updated version of a weapon or an effect or even Johnny Silverhand. So in this video I wanted to go over those, bring you some of those comparisons so you for yourself can just see how it looks in 2018 versus how it'll now look in 2020. But also an important disclaimer around this as to why this may not be what you are actually going to be playing. If you guys enjoy the Cyberpunk 2077 content, you can get subscribed. I'm going to have a lot more on the way. In particular, I'm going to have a video kind of recapping all of the impressions we just got around this game from that hands-on demo. And also at the end of this video, I'm going to just have the raw comparisons in case you get tired of listening to me commentate over them or just want to see them in the raw version for yourself. But first and foremost, something I do want to clarify right at the start of this one. A lot of the shots that we can compare to the 2018 gameplay are actually from the trailer, not from the raw or raw-esque gameplay we got during the live stream. Now, of course, this trailer looks really good, and at the start it is described as in-game footage, but I was a bit wary. Was it kind of in-game footage turned up to 11, almost uncomparable to actual gameplay? So to start off one comparison, we actually have a piece of gameplay footage that we also get in the trailer, so I wanted to show you the two of these back and forth. And you can see pretty clearly, going from the gameplay from the stream to the gameplay from the trailer, it is almost identical. And honestly, I just think in the trailer, the HUD wasn't on, which makes the whole thing a lot more impressive, because this really is how good this game can look, which is very impressive. One of the first comparisons that I think speaks volumes to this overall is that police scene, the roped off section where they are investigating a crime or murder of some sort, and you can see there are massive differences between the two. It seems like it is in exactly the same spot. In particular, one of the big things to stay the same is the graffiti in the background, but on that officer himself, you see a total redesign. The 2020 variant looking a lot more menacing and just a lot better equipped, but the other thing that I think really is showcased with this one is the lighting overhauls that are likely coming with that partnership with NVIDIA RTX. It certainly seems like the 2020 version is at a later time of day, so it's going to accentuate those lights more, but just overall it really changes the overall dynamic of the scene. In the 2018 version, I feel like the lighting was almost an afterthought, where in the 2020 version it's a real presence. But then of course we have the much more popular one, that with Dexter Deshawn. I find this one shocking just because how much was actually changed in this vehicle interior. I feel like in the old version, a lot of it looked good, but they clearly made a choice to change up a lot of what we're seeing, even just down to the panel on the seats as well as the seat design itself. The reflections on his metallic arm might be another big benefit from using RTX with this. In the 2018 variant, they were a lot flatter, and I feel like this one definitely showcases a bit of a bitrate difference. In the older 2018 gameplay, it seems like the bitrate was just lower, so that makes it look a bit worse just to start off. To me, the Militech scene feels like one of the tamest in that there are definitely changes. It definitely looks better, but it's not as drastic as some of the others. Although, if you look closely, you'd actually see there is a huge difference in those ground reflections. And now in several of these, I think the time of day and the just overall ambient light and reflections are playing a big role. So it'll be an interesting comparison to see some of these shots at the same time as the 2018 gameplay, because I feel like some of those features won't be as exaggerated as they are in this particular trailer. Although one of the biggest clips for comparison was the Ripper Dock scene from that 2018 gameplay, as we got a sizable amount of new footage around the scene. You can just see a lot of the same stuff I keep mentioning overall in this video. Lighting improvements, I think the bitrate is really helping this one out in particular. You could especially see this as you're about to get into the chair. You also could see the HUD changes the best here. It seems like between 2018, 2019, and 2020, the HUD has gone under several revisions. It looks quite distinctively different than it has the past two times. And overall, I would say with a lot of these scenes, that is one of the most interesting aspects of them. You of course do have the visual improvements. The lighting in particular is really coming out in this new gameplay, but there's also just a ton of miscellaneous or minor minor things that you would have thought, hey, this could have stayed the same, but it is totally different. In this healing scene, you can see the chem used got changed. Funny enough, in this one, in the newer gameplay, they actually censor the nipple. In the older gameplay, the nipple was uncensored, but I'm censoring it because, well, I want to stay monetized. And overall, it is kind of crazy how much better things look overall. When that gameplay came out in 2018, I saw it at E3, and then when I saw it posted online, it looked great. I thought it was a very, very good looking game. And now to see how much farther it's really come, I think a big portion of this being as a result of RTX, but even at other times not, is quite notable. Although an important reminder around this, I do wonder which version of this game we're seeing right now. On PC, it of course will vary depending on your hardware, but for consoles, an example, there's going to be an Xbox One version, an Xbox One Series X version, and then a better Xbox One Series X version down the line. I assume this is not the better version, but are we seeing the Xbox One Series X version? You have to assume. And even when it comes to some of that lighting with RTX on, which almost certainly is on all throughout this gameplay, that's going to be pretty hard to run, even on fairly top tier hardware. A couple of scenes that don't match up perfectly, but are worthy of comparison. We have this lock-on weapon that we got in that original gameplay. It was a big thing getting it. There are big changes to the amount of light coming from firing this one. The muzzle flare is way bigger and has a way larger impact in the newer gameplay. This isn't so much a direct comparison as much as just seeing what driving looks like during the day versus at night. The vehicle itself is large in part the same, but you can really see how cool this game is going to look at night. And then last but not least, what is thankfully one of the biggest or most notable improvements, Johnny Silverhand. We only get a glimpse of him at the end of the trailer, but comparing that 2019 gameplay to the 2020, it's a big improvement. It's a lot crisper. His model in general, though, I just think looks better. It looks a lot more like Keanu Reeves compared to the last one. But overall, yeah, there's a look in comparison between the 2018 Cyberpunk 2077 gameplay and the 2020 variants. As I've said a lot of times throughout this video, I'm just surprised how many things were changed. In a way, almost looking at these two gameplays, it feels like we're looking at the original version and the remastered version. Maybe not quite that high tier, but it definitely is a big improvement in some of those instances. But hey, for any of you that did watch to the end, hopefully you found this video informative. It did take a while to edit all together. It definitely looks like Cyberpunk 2077 got a sizable upgrade compared to past years, and it just makes me wonder if I could even run this game. As always, again, I thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one, but until next time, I hope to see you all later.